while we are waiting for Dr. Pogo, I would want to give Yinka Odumakin some 5 minutes to make a contribution. And while Yinka is doing that, Annkio Briggs, thank you once more for joining us. Annkio Briggs can get ready another 5 minutes, then we can take general questions. Unless we find out that Pogo is in here. I cannot find him from the list of attendees. Yinka, can you try to unmute your device, please? Having some difficulties. Yinka, once more, can you try to unmute your device? Okay. Okay. If we're having that.
Yes.
Okay, so okay. Go ahead, Yinka.
Thank you. Yes, I've listened to our leaders speaking, rapt attention to Chief John Odo and to Chief Ayade Banjo. These are leaders we work together, and I've visited them over and over again. And they have stated it. COVID-19 has come to expose us for what we are in Nigeria. When the Secretary of the Government of Nigeria came on television and said, I'm not aware that Nigerian health situation is this bad. Like Dr. Miko will say, what we call ventilator in Nigeria today, that we don't even have, that an average state has only 5, that many states don't have anything. It's nothing different from what blacksmiths are using, to blow air when they are working. Is that bad for us? As we are speaking today, for you guys in the diaspora, what you are remitting from now is more now than what you are generating from oil and gas under COVID. We have also discovered that what you are now making from VAT is more than what you are making from oil and gas, which is very clear that today we cannot continue to live our life the way we are living it. It is important for us to also know that
I think you're on mute.
Yinka, something happened. Can you check your device? You've gone on mute.
Please unmute him if you can.
Okay, I have. Yinka, I've done. If I do that, he goes back again.
Okay. So where we are today, it is clear that we cannot continue to live on just oil and gas. Unfortunately, we have finished oil and gas for the South. I don't know what we want them to live on now. But it's clear that we have to recalibrate. We have to reset Nigeria. When you say restructure, let us reset. Let's start afresh. With the era of oil and gas, one product, all of us living on it, and then we are all the corruption, everything going on based on oil and gas. That cannot continue. And we have to go back to the board to ensure that we go to every part of Nigeria and bring out the resources. And when we bring out the resources, of course, we have to compensate Niger Delta, because we have sucked that place dry. And now, oil now means nothing in this world. Like Chiwodo said, we're going to have cars now that don't even need oil. And in that world, where do you want to be? So I think COVID-19 is an awakening to let us know that the life that we have lived all along is not the life we should live. And we should therefore, at this stage, recalibrate, make sure that we work in Nigeria and we can no longer be sending Almajiri to the south. Because all over the years, we have told you that that demography is dangerous. But because we just say, oh, we have more people, we have more this, we want to share more money, and the rest of them, you are raising, breeding Almajiri, use them for elections. Now that there's not much more oil money to share, you are now throwing them south in trailers, in trucks, all kinds of things. That is going on today. That cannot continue.
Okay.
And the Southern and Middle Leaders Forum have spoken that we cannot allow that to continue. You can, I mean, these are not expatriates, these are not workers, these are people with no skills, they have no addresses, they have no destination where they're going to. What are you trying to go and do? That cannot continue.
Thank you very much.
That's my contribution.
Thank you very much. So on this note, we're going to bring Annkio Briggs. Please, you are now on. Annkio.
Okay. Hello. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Definitely, I agree every bit of what Chief Modo has said, every bit of what Pa Adebanjo has said. Actually, listening to Yinka and listening to Pa Adebanjo, it took me back to the 2014 National Conference because everything that has gone on since 2015 in this country and the injustice, the allocation of all the powerful positions to the Fulanis by President Buhari. Every bit of these things we had foreseen them and we had discussed them, especially in the committee that I was fortunate enough to be part of, where all the great people, all the great men across Nigeria, from Pa Adebanjo to Alhaji Yakasaya, was part of this committee. And we have found ourselves in a position where my people and I believe at this point that as much as restructuring is the best option if we want to keep Nigeria together, I believe that we in the Niger Delta have come to a point where, quite honestly, we believe that President Buhari and every other person that has gone along with his style of government will never accept restructuring, no matter how much we want it, and no matter how much we believe it is the way forward. Therefore, I call on my people, and I've been saying this for years now, of the South-South region, and also the whole Southern region, to actually begin to approach our discussion with this government and any other subsequent government before we find a solution. But I want to believe that we must find a solution before, we must take a position before the end of 2020. And that means that we must start from the position of how do we begin to discuss a disengagement? Because if we continue to be saying we want the country to be restructured, when we know fully well that the desire to restructure the country is only coming from the southwest, the Yorubas, is only coming from the southeast, the Ndibu, and is only coming from the middle belt and the Niger Delta that have a lot of ethnic nationalities in the Niger Delta. We really must say to ourselves that the restructuring will not take place. We have to accept that, because 4 years have gone since Buhari came, and people, elders like Tanko Yakasaya are saying they don't understand what it means. And when it suits Elder Tanko Yakasaya, he says that he believes in the 1963 Constitution. And when it suits him, he gives the impression on the other way that he doesn't understand the 1963 Constitution, because as Pa Adebanjo has said, if you believe in the 1963 Constitution, then you must understand what restructuring means, because that is a restructured, that was how we started. So quite honestly, I understand I appreciate when people say, oh, the oil is finished. Well, whether the oil is finished or not, the Niger Delta people, the Robos, the Shekiris, the Ikweres, the Ogonis, the Ijos, we have to survive, because we were surviving before crude oil. They were stealing crude oil before they even told us that we had crude oil. And so we have to survive. And if we have to survive without crude oil, so be it. If we have to start afresh without crude oil, so be it. But that we will sit down in a community like where I come from, in Abonima, by the mouth of the Atlantic Ocean, and there are people, I don't know where they are from, I don't understand the language they speak, I don't know who they are, and they are taking over, they are living in my community. I don't know what they are saying, I don't know what they are planning. And so if we continue to give the impression, the South, the whole of the South, if we continue to give the impression that we are more prepared than anybody else to keep Nigeria together, they will continue to use us to wipe the floor of Nigeria. We must reach a point where we have to say that we can start afresh. It's like a woman who is in a terrible marriage and has 3 children, 2 children, and she has to decide at some point, will she die in this marriage or will she start afresh as a single mother? And COVID-19 has shown that the states can be on their own. We've always known that anyway. It's not because of oil or gas. We've always known that we can be on our own. It is the insistence by even our own leaders and fathers today that Nigeria, oh, we cannot break Nigeria because, and please, I do not believe, and a lot of my people do not believe, that God put Nigeria together. God did not put Nigeria together. Look, God put Nigeria together. And I do not believe that Nigeria must continue to stay in the circumstances that we have found ourselves in. We, from the Niger Delta region, at this point, cannot actually believe that we have anything left to lose. There is nothing. We have nothing left to lose. We've been governed with fear. We've been governed with oppressive military government, and now oppressive civilian democratic government. Today, the situation we find ourselves in, I think it is worse than when Abacha was in power. It is worse than when Babangida, you can't compare Babangida's time, as bad as it was, and Abacha's time, as terrible as it was. You truly cannot compare it. I mean, you didn't have a headsman roaming around destroying people's farms during Babangida's time. Today, you have headsmen living in the forest, in Igbo land, in Niger Delta, in River State, in Delta State. Even this week, they are killing people in Delta State. I mean, people abroad are horrified that we seem to be able to live with this. That is the people of the South, the Yorubas, the Igbos, the Niger Delta people, the Middle Belt people, that have been at the brunt of this thing for almost 30 years from what I've gathered, or even more. So we actually must be bold. We must be strong. And we must say to ourselves, we have to take a stand. And that stand must be, since we, the Fulani are determined that this is the way Nigeria is going to be, we must determine that this is not the way we are going to be.
Thank you.
So if we can't live together, we must find a way to live apart. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sister Annkio Briggs. That's a fine place to leave it. Then, since